All right. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to what I can honestly say is my first Instagram Live. Hi. Um, just waiting for Nicole to hop on board, and we'll love to take questions from you guys. Her and I will chat a little bit about our experience together, and then we'll go from there. Send a little request to Nicole. She should be joining us in just a second. Hey, Al, how are you? Um, Doing great over here, Brandon. How things in London? Hey, Sophie, how's it going? Yes, I am American. Oh, snap. Let's see, did that Instagram go through? Do we have Nicole yet? She should be here in a second. Of course, Kim. Trying to get as much information out to you guys as possible so that you guys can see the film. Um, ah, all right, so Nick is unable to join. Let's see if we send another request. You guys are wonderful for your patience. Hey, Trish. Hi from LA. Dina, I'm from New York City. Uh, Mary just asked me how is it working with Nicole. Nicole is one of my closest friends and one of the best actors I've ever known. So every part of it was a joy. Brandon, that net worth, I'm still looking for it, you know? Well, Sophie, we'll see if there's a way to get that film dubbed for you. But at this point, yeah, I think we only have an English version. Oh, they're having heavy rain in Sydney. That may be why. We're having connection issues. Let's hope this all goes through. Maxie, you know just what to say to a girl, don't you? Mm. Desiree, you're moving to New York. How cool is that? We will get the Tangle out in Europe. I'm just not exactly sure when. Um, if we want to go Scottish, Maxie, don't judge too hard, but we'll do our best. Fantastic. I look forward to the whining and dining for sure. Um, well, while we're waiting for Nicole and for her connection to kind of come through, um, let's see if there let's see if there are any questions. Um, I'm working to bring Nicole back to America. Unfortunately, she just keeps working in Australia, which makes it really, really hard. I'm not in Australia. Nick is. Nick is in Sydney right now. We're having some kind of connection issue. So I've sent her a request, and it keeps bouncing back. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we're able to get this thing up and running. What I really need is Maxie Reynolds, who's on here, and all of her remarkable computer skills to hack this system and make it all happen. Yes, it was remarkably fun to shoot with Nicole. Um, for those of you who are going to watch the film, my head is completely shaved, bald, and every day before we would shoot, Nicole would be the one who would shave it and do the touch-ups on it because she just found it so fun, which was very fun. Here we go. I think we got her. There she is.
Hello.
Ah, how
Look, it's
are you, my dear?
good. Can you? Oh, there we go. Hello.
My best
Yay!
friend. Yay.
Yay! I was just hearing you say about the shaving head thing. I totally forgot about that.
You forgot that you shaved my head every single day on set?
I mean, I remembered once you said it, but I also had this idea that I was just really bad at like shaving heads. So there you go. Maybe I was all right.
Um, well, I will say this. Something that you guys may not know about Nick is one of her secret powers is she can give the most remarkable haircuts. She once cut for Halloween. I had a long wig that we needed to cut to look like a certain character from a television show, and when she was done, it was like a spitting image. So she's
Time and the patience for it. I'm okay. Like I recently just had to cut my kid's hair, and I reckon I did an okay at wrangling a 2.5-year-old. It's like
I
a wet
mean
hair and scissors. I'm like, just hold still, just watch Frozen one more time. Just do it.
um,
How are we all?
oh my God, there's so many
Oh my
people
gosh,
here.
we're like 610 people.
I know, how amazing. There's a question here from Scott, who was a student of mine and a great
Hi.
actor and filmmaker, asking what the process was like from concept to production. Um, I
Good
mean,
question.
for me, it was a script that I was read and offered, and as Chris Kelly and Jessica Graham were looking for other people to be in the film who should play this role of Francesca, my best friend on the planet and daily lunch buddy here in LA was Nicole de Silva, and I recommended her, and their actual response was, "Do you think she would do it?" And then I handed the script to her, and you tell me what your thoughts were, Nick.
Well, it was a resounding hell yes from me. I was like, I get to do a film with you, so it was a done deal. But in LA, I'd wanted to work in America for a little while. I wanted to work in accent, and I think the fact that there was this opportunity to work on an indie film with that kind of teamwork spirit behind it. And I thought Chris's writing was really superb. I thought the lyricism and the poetry of his vision was
Mm-hmm.
exciting. And then I got to kick ass. I got to do some cool kick ass stuff, which, if the lovely peeps watching go out to Amazon and buy this film, then you will see some of that in action. And it was a no brainer for me. I got to work with Josh and I got to have this experience in LA. So yeah, it was great. Um, Josh, what's your resounding memory of working on the film?
Oh, I think I think the one for me, and I don't think a lot of people will know this, but so I have this scar on my arm, which is from a cup of coffee when I was a little kid, and I remember there was a point in the script where Nicole was going to beat the crap out of me and torture me, and at one point Nicole had this idea to do it with coffee, and the thing I remember the most was before you burned me with the coffee per script. You played with the coffee and you sang this little song and did this little
Oh,
dance.
the pot. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I remember having this like childhood visceral reaction.
Wow.
Oh my God, what is she doing with the coffee? What is she doing with the coffee? And and it's one of those things that in the film there's a thing that flashes across my eyes that I know was as real as it gets.
Oh my God, I have to go back and watch it now just for that. That's so amazing. I mean, traumatic, but amazing. That's what
Yeah,
we
yeah.
do, actors. Oh,
Yeah, so
hey.
somebody wrote another Francesca. I was talking to Chris Kelly the other day, and he said that that was just a remarkable, like, happy accident that he wrote the role that way, and then the greatest Frankie on television ever. What's your favorite memory from it?
Um, being being in that warehouse. So for context for everyone out there, we shot in this warehouse I can't remember where it was. It was a little bit
It was like
outside
an
of,
hour and a half south of LA.
yeah, like LA proper. And it was in this warehouse that had been converted. You know, like, oh no, I've got my screen time check on and it says I've got 5 minutes remaining on Instagram today.
I think
So
you'll be allowed to ignore that.
yeah, if it cuts out, I'll get back on.
Yeah, you'll get back on. Okay.
So mine isn't as deep as yours, Josh. I just remember one, that the sense of team spirit when we were in that warehouse for like 10 days or whatever it was, and it was so hot and sticky. And when we were in that kind of sci-fi white costumey thing,
Yeah.
just so sweaty. all
Actually,
all the sweat.
I just remembered this because I didn't have to wear that. I remember the three of you standing behind me with these helmets and suits on, and it was my greatest joy. You'd spent the whole day before torturing me, and now you were all just so miserable.
And dear Crystal, who did our hair and makeup and did a great job of it, I think they were like little fans and stuff, and we'd kind of try and stick them under the costume because we couldn't get in and out of them. So it was pretty funny.
You know what else is a funny memory? I wonder if you remember this. Outside that factory, there was a big, giant pile of cardboard. And Crystal, our hair and makeup person, really desperately, who's like a mountain climber, wanted to jump into it because she thought it would be this like wonderful collapse into this like thing. And she ran and jumped and just pancakes because it was a solid pile of
Was that out in the driveway? Like you came out
Yep.
that long driveway? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What other questions do we have?
Somebody asked how intense the roles were.
Yours was pretty intense.
I thought yours was too. I mean, yours was like delicious. You just came in and kicked the shit out of everybody.
It was so fun. Francesca was really fun, and Chris had all this beautiful stuff in it where I could come and like luxuriate in making a cup of coffee, and then I had that little dance sequence, and like for me, Francesca was very, visceral and luxuriated almost. Like it may not come across that way, but I think there was
it did. It comes across that way.
Yeah. She was kind of like, she just liked to get into it, I think.
Yeah. For me,
yeah, I mean,
for me, it was a really interesting kind of thing because Carter as a character almost represented Chris because he was the poet. So his deep sort of emotional connection to creating this sort of web that we would all be connected to, and then being kicked out of that group, I felt like an orphan child looking through the window at my family. That's what it felt like to me all the time.
Oh,
chained up on that weird table.
Yeah, with all those cool props, that like the map and the little snow globy thing.
Yeah, Chris promised to give me that map, but he never did. Somebody,
that's how jerk.
Alyssa, who's from my neighborhood in Whitestone, Queens, just gave me props for wearing my Queens t-shirt to represent. So I feel like I got to give love. I mean, obviously there's a tremendous amount of love here for you and your remarkable performance in Wentworth.
You're actually American.
Yes, people are. I think because we're friends, they assumed I was Aussie. I should have tried it. I should try my dialect out.
But yeah, you should. Hey, but everyone, we should just all start a movement to get Josh Abitton to Australia so I can have him in my daily life all the time here.
I'm 100% in on that. Maxie, who's a dear friend, wrote, "Do you look over your acting in a movie to take notes on the performance?" Nick, what do you think?
Yes, I have done. And I have done in the past, like particularly when I first started out, I would almost I would stop, start, pause, start, and analyze a performance to see what was reading, what was not, to kind of take note of what I had intended, whether it had come across. I got real analytical at a point there. And then I think I let that all go at some stage. And now I don't often like to watch it back.
Mm-hmm. I think your did your limit just hit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on a half-hour limit because I watched The Social Dilemma and I'm freaked
Same.
out. Stuff.
Same. I ignored it for today because I knew that we were going to do this together.
Yeah, you're clever. I didn't do that. What about you? Do you like watching it back?
There are performances of mine I've never seen
Yeah.
because if it felt right in the moment, I I didn't want to I don't want to do that to myself as a performer because then
Yeah.
the next time I show up on set, I find myself watching myself and over analyzing my performance while I'm in it. And then I
Yeah.
don't feel that kind of freedom, you know? Because
Yeah.
that was one
It
of the
takes you
things.
out of it.
Yeah, like one of the things about this film that was so fun is we all ate together. Nick and I helped Eric, our production designer, along with Jess and Chris, we helped build the set.
Yeah.
We would all eat dinner every single night around that weird big conference table.
Yeah.
And
And I would sit there in accent and tell people I was from Gillette, Wyoming.
one thing I need to tell them this. Nick and I went to Austin, Texas. Our friend was opening a bar, and we went there for New Year's. And one night, Nicole told me that, what was your name? Brandy? From
Maybe.
Orange County, and you loved juice smoothies, and you were going to spend the whole night in an American
Being
accent.
Brandy.
Yeah, and then I said, all right, my name's Jono, and I'm from Melbourne, and I'm here on vacay. And we went out that night. Do you remember this? And we went into a bar, and I went to buy a round of drinks for us and our friends. And I got stuck at the bar for 20 minutes, and I was talking in the dialect, and some Texan girl gave me her number. And I couldn't call her because I had a fake accent.
Because you were being a big fat liar. I remember
I was being a big fat liar. I can't even keep up with all the questions. There's so many wonderful comments.
I know. Thank you all for joining.
Yeah. And make sure, what we'd really love, for those of you who have it available, the Tangle is out now. You can get it on Amazon Prime. I believe it's $2.99 to rent in America. And because we're a small little film, if you leave a review that's positive,
that would be amazing.
Yeah, it would definitely help our film get some legs and have Amazon help us, get it out to other people,
Rainbow Dreams just asked, what is the film actually about?
Oh,
that's a involved question. Let's hit it. Go, Josh.
Okay, so right now we live in a world like this where we have the internet and we're able to connect, and our refrigerator can now talk to our phone, or I can turn my lights on and off, right? The Tangle is a world where each one of us has implanted a device in our head that makes us connected to everything all the time. So rather than look it up on my phone, I could scan the internet in my head. It also allows us to present to people how we're seen through an avatar. And in that world, violence is impossible. And yet somehow someone got murdered, and I am definitely the lead and only suspect, is what I would say.
Yeah, you are. It's a really cool concept, actually, because I feel like we may not be far from that kind of technological digital control, like I think The Social Dilemma, that I keep on bringing that up for some reason today, but that doco was exactly about that, how our brains and our neural pathways are literally being manipulated. Like, it's not an implant per se, but we're being, maneuvered every day by this kind of stuff. So The Tangle, it's a sci-fi set in the future, but maybe the not too distant future.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting concept because Chris, who's asking me, what's it about, Josh, as he just put that question up, is for some people, I think it's a utopia, a world where violence doesn't happen and murder doesn't happen. And for me, it's terrifying. It's a terrifying, somebody I mean, Kennedy in Canada, or Big Brother is watching, or Mary, Big Brother's watching. And yeah, it is like that. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a Black Mirror episode, you know?
Yeah, it is. It actually is. It's an extended Black Mirror episode. That's a great reference.
You know.
A lot of people are saying that they can't find it in France. They can't find it in the UK. Do we know if it's a global release?
Jessica Graham, our wonderful co-star and also producer, sent me something. I don't know what happens. Like if I close this window to look at my text thread, will I disappear?
I think so, but I disappeared for a red hot second. Oh, Gianne Cunningham said she got it in the UK. And Chris just said it should be in the UK.
Amazon Prime. Yeah, and then there's a thing on Instagram called @IndieRights, INDIERIGHTS, that Jessica said people should go check out. I think it might give you ways to be able to maneuver around some of those things, so you can watch it.
I just want to point out, like, yay Jess, yay Chris, and the team of this film, because to go ahead and write, produce, direct, distribute, release, promote, and get a full feature film out into the world is like a huge effort. And I'm so proud to be in this project for that reason. That
I agree.
I mean, that's a mammoth effort.
Yeah, it was like doing a piece of theater with your friends.
Boom, that's exactly what it was.
But giving it out to the whole, hopefully as much of the world as we can. I know, I feel that way too. I'm a combination of excited and terrified.
I wonder, is there anyone out there? Someone asked, why did it take so long for the movie to come out? Because when did we shoot?
It's 5 years ago.
I'm going to look like a baby in that.
Me too. Notice how much gray is in this beard and how little is in it in the movie.
Because all that came out after shooting.
Yeah. There we go. It's
Amazon Prime in the UK, apparently.
It's Indie Rights Movie. Somebody just corrected me. It's Indie Rights Movies is where you want to go, @Indie Rights Movies. Part of it is because with a limited budget, Chris did almost all the post himself. He did editing and special effects, so that it was put on his shoulders rather than having the money to hire someone else to do it. We then went through a year and a half of independent film festivals, many of which the film was lucky enough to win and place. I just saw a dear friend Kelly Stewart give us one of those emojis. She's one of the best people in the world. And then I think as we were getting ready to try and get it distributed, COVID hit. So, that year pushed it back.
Yeah, but it's here now. So head on over to Amazon and Indie
Movie Rights.
Indie Movie Rights.
I'm probably getting that right. It's probably Indie. I'm going to go back and see if I can find it. Somebody asked if I asked you to be in the film or you had to audition. When Nicole said she was into being in the film, there was no audition needed. We were thrilled to have her, and I was thrilled to get to work with my best friend.
Yeah, so. I was so excited, and I was really excited to work with Chris and Jess as artists and these people that were kind of bringing this thing to life. So for me, it was a hell yes. Nicole, can you do any other accents? Yeah.
Yes.
Anything you want. Probably not straight away, but I had fun. I had to put down an audition yesterday and I had to have an English accent, and that was super fun. Yeah, I like that. It's kind of nice. Just have a cup of tea and do your accent.
Yeah, I taught at a conference the other day to a bunch of hackers, literal computer hackers.
Amazing.
To do a standard London dialect. I hope I did an all right job, but Nicole can do most of them.
A Cockney, Pretty Little Betty, sitting on the jetty, eating lettuces and drinking bottles of water.
Oh, there you go, love. That's real good.
Thanks, drama school.
Someone asked us to try Scottish.
Oh God, I played a Scottish character in drama school called Captain Jammy from Shakespeare's Henry V. Captain Jammy, but I can't. To be honest, I'd have to tune my ear back in to do that one. What about you?
It's been a while, though. Maxie Reynolds, who's on there, is a former Scottish student of mine, and
Oh, that's good.
she's helped me with it a bit. When I teach like a dialect class, she'll come in as like my live version of the dialect, and we'll kind of rap back and forth. It goes in and out. It's been a minute. You know what I mean?
Because you got to tune in the ear. So for me, I feel like the US standard and the English, I've always got kind of in my back pocket ready to go. But any of the variations, I need a minute. What was that?
My brother just gave us 9 middle fingers. That's Mike giving us that.
That's for Josh's brother Mike. It means I love you.
Yeah, at our home, this means I love you. So
we're close like that. Hey, can you two speak a bit of French?
oh, let me see if I can channel Omar, because for French it's got to be very like lazy the way you're talking like this. Oh, I can't do it right now. I'm on the spot. I'm nervous.
Are we talking French accent or are we talking French French?
French I can't speak. Can you speak French?
Well, I did French like for 4 years in high school, mostly because it was really close to Portuguese and Spanish. So I was like, this is a shoo-in. But in that same production of Henry V, I played the Princess Catherine.
Oh yeah, the fingers.
And the scene went like this, everyone. It went, Alice, tu étais en Angleterre et tu parles bien le langage. Un peu, madame. Je te prie, m'enseigner. Il faut que je prenne à parler. Comment t'appelez-vous la main en anglais?
There you go.
And by the way, I was totally doing both parts then. Oh, this is too fun.
Oh, someone's asking us to do a Texan. I mean, if we're doing like West Texas, where you don't want to move your mouth much or your eyes, it's too hot. I do that all day.
I think hands down, Josh is the best at accents.
I mean,
oh my God! Can you please do your Michael Caine? Do you still have that in your back pocket?
Oh, Michael Caine. Michael Caine. I've got to remember how to do Michael Caine. See, Michael Caine always sort of downward inflects, and he's got like a small little almost lisp in the way he talks. It's there, but there was a period of time.
There was a period of time. So Josh and I spent a lot of time in LA, cruising around, going to yoga classes, going to lunch, doing auditions, doing this film. And I think there was maybe a good fortnight to a month where you were Michael Caine every day. It was so good. It was so much fun.
I can't wait for the world to reopen. I'm getting on a plane to Australia. Stat.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes. What else have we got? Someone said, love it, Josh. Wow, Josh. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you answer your fans? Yes.
I mean, in terms of the film, let me ask you this. Do you remember there being anything that was like a big challenge to you?
In the film?
Yeah. You were definitely nervous about your American accent, which was not a problem at all.
I was definitely nervous about my accent. That is true. I think that was probably my biggest challenge. And then I think that was the big hump for me, that big psychological hump of going, how free can I be in this accent, because I haven't really dug into it before. But interestingly, so in the lead up to that film, I was in accent the whole time. And then during the filming, I was in accent the whole time. And then I got an audition for a show called Gorda McGibbon's over there. And because I had been in accent for, weeks now, I went into that audition and it was there and I felt free and I ended up getting that little guestie.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but I was very nervous. I was very, very nervous about it. It's funny. It's funny how you trip up psychologically with that, like those things. It's like, yeah, each job has their own, I think. What about you? Is
I
there
mean, for
anything?
me, the biggest challenge had to be I had these monologues on the
Oh my
phone,
gosh, yes.
and one of them included me reciting in Xanadu did Kubla Khan and that poem by Coleridge, I believe it was, and
Yeah.
that and trying to get that to be active. And I mean, you were remarkably helpful. You guys need to know that I had so much dialogue in this thing, and Nicole would sit with me in between takes on the drive down the set, and we would just drill it and drill it.
100%.
And I couldn't have done
100%.
it without that. I really couldn't,
I
you know.
mean, we were all so in it together. So I'll run lines with you anytime, Joshua.
I know. Listen, the Mustard Seed Cafe is missing your presence. I just have to
I
let you know.
know. We pretty much lived there while I was in LA. Let's answer some questions.
Yeah, let's see. Uh,
Heart, heart, heart.
I got favorite city.
Hi, Nicole. You keeping well? Yes, I am. Thank you. Hello, Germany.
Oh, wie
Someone's
can Sie
having a cup of tea
German?
too.
Yeah, you have a mustache on your mugs there. That's very, I love it. Oh, it's removable. Um, there was a couple
Yeah.
questions. I'm trying to see something. Nick, how many months did you spend?
Oh, what was that? Sorry.
Somebody asked how many months you spent in LA for this project.
Well, I was living there at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I ended up I was living on and off in LA. So it's torrential here. I'm just going to close the window. Um, so I moved to LA, what was it? Like 2013 maybe?
Yeah, I think so. Sounds about right.
So I'd already been living there a little while. And then I was going back and forth to do Wentworth, and then I would go back and forth to do Doctor until, well, I think a couple of years ago now, I moved
Yeah,
back away from my Josh.
he misses you very much.
Yes.
Somebody asked
Hi,
what
Thailand. How cool is that?
I know, right?
We just got
And
asked what our ideal roles would be.
you know, someone asked me this in an interview today, and this is my answer right now. I want something that I have to wield a battle axe. I want to be some
Yes.
kind of like warrior in some Lord of the Rings type of world. That's really what I want. What about you?
Look, I think for a long time, my definitive answer was Wonder Woman. I just want to play Wonder Woman. I think Gal Gadot did such a beautiful job at that, and I cannot compare. So um, I'm really craving, I'm at a point in my career now where I'm really craving, like digging my heels and my guts into character work and stuff that's very real and gritty and honest. So
Yeah.
I think anything that serves that, as low key as the project is, whatever it is, if it's to be able to creatively collaborate with a director and other actors and just go somewhere else that you wouldn't have expected, I think that's where it's at for me at the moment. But it still would be cool to kick some butt in a superhero style.
Yeah, you know, I do so much crying on screen. If I could just chop people's heads off, I'd be really, really happy.
Yeah.
What's your favorite TV series to watch? That question just popped up.
Oh my God. I mean, Schitt's Creek at the moment just brings me so much joy, and I think the world needs a bit of joy right now. I cannot get enough of that comedy, and Moira Rose and all the other actors in that are just superb.
Did,
So I'll just like, I've already watched it twice through the whole series, but I'll just still flick it on because I can't get enough.
I just watched Ted Lasso. It's on Apple TV, starring Jason Sudeikis, and he plays an American college football coach, American football, who gets hired by a Premier League team to coach their football team in England.
Yeah.
And it's the sweetest, most beautiful thing. It's amazing. I
I'll
can't
have to check
believe
it out.
I can't believe how good it is. I also started watching this show called Warrior that's on Cinemax on HBO Max,
I've
and
heard of that.
it's so badass. That's the most badass show I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
What else? Yeah.
Have you ever watched Doctor Who? Hannah asks.
I watched a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a little. I had an old roommate who was obsessed with Doctor Who, so I think Doctor Who's super fun. Did you ever
Yeah,
watch that?
I've checked in. I've checked in and out of that show a few times. I was really interested when they introduced a female Doctor Who. I thought that was a very, very cool move. I haven't got around to seeing any of that, but I was like, yeah, way to go. Mix it up. Let's
Answer a
move
question. I'm gonna get a
this.
I gotta get a charger. My phone wants to
Okay,
die.
no worries. I'll answer some questions. Hi, Liverpool, UK, Joy Division 79. I super appreciate everyone being here. Have I ever watched Line of Duty? I don't think I have. And while we got a pause, who's already headed over to Amazon and rented or bought the Tangle movie? Because that's what we want you to be doing. I have not been to Wales, Katie. Good reviews for Jodie Whittaker as Doctor Who. Yes. Is Doctor available in the USA? Yes, it is, my friend. You can find it on Acorn TV, and I think it aired free to air somewhere, but I'll have to confirm that with you because I don't know if they've got it on a playback service. But Acorn TV definitely, and it's called The Heart Guy over there.
Oh,
Have
really?
you watched Dexter? Yes, I have watched Dexter because my friend Yvonne Strahovski was in the final season of that. So I was like cheering her on because she played a psychopath in that.
Yes, she did. She was amazing on it, and now she's
Yeah.
on Mindhunter.
Just a little show. Just a little
show
show.
called Mindhunter.
Called. Is she on Mindhunter? Oh, Handmaid's Tale? Have
Handmaid's
you ever
Tale.
been to Northeast England? I have not. Yes. I was like, oh, that chick is getting a lot of jobs. Oh, thank you.
I'm trying to get this charger.
Miani, I think it was. It went past really fast, but they said that they just bought the movie. Yes, Yvonne is amazing. Thank you.
And Queen's Gambit, somebody mentioned, fantastic show. Did you watch Queen's Gambit, Nick?
Oh my God, it was breathtaking. It was phenomenal. I'm gonna have to hold this so I can see the questions properly. There we go.
Yeah.
Am I
got this thing.
last season of Wentworth? Alas, I'm not, but it's going to be a ripper season. I am in this little film called The Tangle, though. You should go check it out on Amazon or Indie Movie Rights.
Has Nick been to Palm Springs? Yes, we went to Palm Springs together. And didn't you go to Palm Springs with Eric, too? You go off-roading there?
Is that Palm Springs?
Yeah.
Then yes. Then yes, I have.
Yep, that you have.
I don't know why I have this idea that Palm Springs is like a resort style place with pools and palm trees.
Well, the main town of it is, and then outside of it you have the desert and that kind of area.
Right.
Oh, they just got the film in Israel.
Yes! Someone asked if I speak Portuguese. Sim, eu falo português. Como estás? Tudo bem?
Yeah, ni medebel kitzat. Beseder gamor.
Okay? Oh, fish.
Have you been to Seattle, Nicole?
I have not been to Seattle, and it is a bane of my existence because I would love to go there. I think everything I've heard about it is super cool. I think the closest I got was San Fran, and San Fran was awesome, but Seattle's on my list.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And as my friend from Seattle says, it doesn't rain as much as they say. They tell that to keep us all away.
Is it like Australia's version of Melbourne?
Yes.
I mean,
actually, energetically, those two cities are similar.
Oh, so it's super cool and rainy.
Somebody said we should work again because we were great as Carter and Francesca. I'll tell you, I'm waiting for the day.
I would happily do all my future jobs with Joshua Abitton, just for the record.
Vice versa.
Have I been to New York? Yes. I have a love affair with New York. Um, I love that place. And obviously, Josh, what's your relationship to New York?
I kind of like it. It's where I'm born and raised. And Nicole went to New York and did a 6-week acting course with my acting mentor, William Esper, and
Yeah.
he adored her. And Bill was a tough cookie,
Yeah.
and he adored you. You know that in the last year of his life, I talked about you with him,
Really?
and he remembered you, and he's like, "Oh, she was lovely." Um,
Oh, that's so special. That
yeah,
was that, there's kind of like moments and times in your life that are just freeze framed. And being in New York over that summer in Bill's classes is one of those times. Like, my soul sung walking to his studios every day and doing the work, um and then cruising New York City at night and just taking it all in. It's such a cool place.
yeah, for sure. Somebody out here said that Jersey was better than New York. I went to school in Jersey, so I have love for Jersey. So I'm going to leave it there because I really can't get into this conversation. This is an age-old thing. You know, this is like
Yeah.
Melbourne fighting Sydney, you know?
And look, I mean, maybe Josh and I can just do a world tour of the Tangle and we just go to all these fantastic places.
I'm totally down. Let's see if the
Hey,
film.
Philippines represent. How cool is that?
No,
Where
it's
did we
amazing. Right?
go?
There are people from Japan, Wales.
This
I
is so.
mean, it's
Someone still buy Violet bars in Australia, like Violet Crunches, I think they're called. Yes, you.
crumble, violent crumble. It's my favorite Aussie candy.
And I just sent you some, right?
Yes, you did. You sent me those, and you sent me the mint arrows, and you
Yeah,
sent me my favorite of all cookies, Tim Tams.
yeah. Go Tim Tams. Um, hey, Eric's here. Eric Thorne did our sets. Hey, buddy.
Yeah,
Denver.
one of the true brilliant artists in the world. That guy can do everything.
Hey, Maine. Vermont is here. Thank you so much for joining, everyone.
Laurel asked about Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii. I shot an episode of Magnum PI in Hawaii and had an amazing time driving all over Oahu on my days off.
Yeah, I actually went to Hawaii straight after. So I did the Tangle and then I did Gordon McGibbon's and then I went to Hawaii for, I think it was like 10 days. And yeah, just kind of cycled around the island and ate amazing prawns and it was delicious. It was so
I have to
good.
say this. Ashley McMichael said, "Thank you for your voice regarding women's rights, Nicole." And I have to say that that's something that you have always done, which is a pretty amazing thing. And
Thanking me. I just want to point out that Josh is also an amazing male ally for women's rights. And if there are men out there watching, I think it's time for boys and men to join this conversation because as much as I'm happy to bang the drum and to go head first into trying to gain equality for women, I actually think it's time for the males in our lives um, to step up because it not only benefits us, it benefits everyone. And it's a broader conversation than just women's rights, right?
my
Like,
friend Orlando put this best. We did this sort of little talk show called "That's What He Said," and one of the episodes was about this. And Orlando said this. He said, "Sexism is men's problem. It's women's problem to deal with, but it's men's problem. It's
yeah,
our issue to correct." And there are those of us, you know, who consider ourselves allies, but sometimes that has to step up to another level, which
yeah,
includes being able to tell other men, like, "Hey, that's not cool. You can't
yes,
say that." Um, you know, and sometimes just checking in with someone and making sure that they're okay, you know,
yeah,
in circumstances. And it can be scary to do it. But as nervous as you might be as a guy doing it, and I've done it, and I've been real nervous to do it, that woman in that situation is way more scared than you are. And it doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to be aggressive. It's just one of those things that I remember doing it once, and the guy flipped on me. He said, "You don't know what she's done to me." I said, "I don't." But if you care about her as much as you're saying, you would want someone like me to step in and make sure this doesn't get out of hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
he,
we need to check ourselves, and we need to check our friends and check each other. And we live in this world of cancel culture at the moment, that everything gets shut down if it's not, you know, exactly one side. But I actually think this is a broader discussion. So thank you, Josh, because
oh,
you and I do have these discussions, and it is about not only empowering women and advancing women's rights, but it's also about broadening the scope of what it is to be a male or a man, and what
exactly.
he looks like, because it's otherwise it's completely ill-serving for everyone, not
Yeah.
just so thanks whoever brought that up. But yes,
Are you and B best friends in real life? I'm not sure who B is.
Danielle Cormack.
Oh, of course. Yeah, they're homies.
Yeah, we are. We totally are. And we see each other quite regularly in Sydney too. So yes, the answer to that. Hello,
Mm-hmm.
Island.
Hi, Italy. You're both so inspiring. Those actors, but now use your voice to help
Someone
others.
can't wait to watch the Tangle tonight. Yeah. Yes, and I think heading on over to Amazon and checking out the Tangle is a great way to spend, if you're in lockdown, or if you're in rainy old Sydney town or Seattle town. Just go and get the Tangle and support a bit of independent filmmaking, because the world needs art now. So get amongst it.
Someone just said, "Do you not watch Wentworth Joshua?" Of course, I watch Wentworth. I watched every episode. I mean, my best friends gave one of the greatest performances I've ever seen anyone give on that show over the course.
Story about Wentworth hitting America was when we went into that furniture store. And so Wentworth had been in Australia for quite a few years already. So I was a bit used to people knowing about the show here. And then Josh and I went into a furniture store in LA, and that woman just tripped out. She was, oh my God, you're here. I've been watching Wentworth, and I've been listening to these Australian accents, and now you're here. Oh my God. And she just spun out for like 15 minutes.
Crazy. Do you remember what happened? We went to a yoga class, and there was a woman named Stacy who Nicole knew, and then Wentworth hit the States, and all of a sudden Stacy ran over and was like, "Oh my God, oh my God, like I can't even talk to you anymore," and she freaked out about how remarkable and tough you were, and vulnerable. I mean, look, Nicole did a lot of amazing things on that show. The scene where she confronts her father, I can't even talk about it. It's such perfect work. It's so raw and so open and so surprising. And I can see her surprised in those moments. That to me, it's like the definition of what great acting is. Legit.
Is it what's happening with Joshua right now? This is why I love this man. See this? He just knows it. He feels it. He sees. I love you. Have I told you the story about that scene that we actually had to go back and reshoot?
No, I don't think so.
There was a continuity issue when they tried to cut it together, because in every shot of my dad's, you could see my reflection, and in every shot of mine, you could see his reflection in the glass.
The glass.
So something happened. There was a skew of continuity, like physical continuity. So we actually had to come back and reshoot all my stuff. And I had auditioned with that scene. And as an actor, as you know, like when you have a scene that's that raw and requires that kind of gut-wrenching depth, keeping it fresh and keeping it real and keeping it alive is a real test. And so I not only did it for the audition, then I came to shoot it on the day. And then there was this heartbreaking news that we had to go back and reshoot the whole thing. I think all my stuff, because of the continuity thing. And so, yeah, that was pretty huge. but you do it, don't you? You just do anything.
Do you remember when I did that episode of Harry's Law where I had that big gay rights speech?
Yeah.
And so I had a similar thing where I had this huge courtroom speech and I would start yelling like full top of my lungs at the judge, and where were you? You know, where were you with Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and where were you with all these things? And I had to do ADR, which for those who don't know,
Oh,
it's oh my God, Pocket Sammy, upside down frown. He was in the Pacific with me. I always want to keep him in my pocket because he's the
oh
funniest
no!
one-liners of all time. Oh, I love you, Sammy. I miss you so much.
Jade just said she watched the Tangle in the UK. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And so when I came in to do ADR, which is often like if there's a sound issue, you'll have to dub the sound. I walked in, and it was one episode guest star, so I didn't know any of the sound engineers, and it looked like I walked into a funeral. And I said, "Hey guys, what are we doing today?" And they all had their heads hanging. And I said, "What's up?" And they put it on. And they said the mic spiked and they cracked on every take.
Oh, I've got goosebumps. No.
Luckily, it was one of those things that was still like ingrained in my body.
Yeah.
So I found it able to connect to it again.
Great.
And, but I was terrified.
Hugely important speech to be on television as well. Like I remember you and I talking about this at the time, like the responsibility of making these things known and giving them truth and getting them out there and airing them and saying them into the world. It was like big responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was huge. And someone just asked if I play sports. I was a college baseball player. And whenever I get the chance, I play ball when I can.
And now yoga does yoga. Josh does intensive yoga in LA, and you're like a graceful ballerina when you do all your like this man backbends like nothing else.
I have a bendy little back, that's for sure.
Hey, we said we were going to do half an hour.
Guys, I can't tell you how
We've pretty much done it.
Yeah, I just can't tell you how.
Yes.
Guys, who's your favorite character in Wentworth except Frankie? I mean, it has to be Danielle. I think she was amazing in that show.
And there's something about entering into the prison with that every woman fresh.
Yep, that's what it was. It was her transformation, and as she walked in with that fear that everyone would have. Oh, someone said I'm hot, and that you are too, Nick. That's really nice.
And you're all. Boomer is also one of my favorites.
Oh, Boomer was amazing.
Yeah. It's hard to pick favorites on an ensemble show like that because everyone brings so much to it, and everyone is so individualized and unique. So it's really hard.
I think that's really true. I mean, what made that show work? I mean, for me, what drew me to it was you, but then what made it work was the way everyone's work kind of flowed together, which is why I think it's such a great ensemble show, you know?
I'm going to have to...
You got to go take care of a child.
I got to go take care of my kid. I got to actually do some mumming.
Well, let's do this again next week and we'll check back in.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Please, when you get a chance, watch Tangle. If you love it, leave a review. And Nick, I just love you more than almost anybody on the planet. And you know, there's my mom and my brother and my dad, I guess. But I love you. Yeah, Mike, if you're still there, that's from us. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you everyone for joining. Enjoy the Tangle, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.